All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to tackle a topic that is so important for anyone in data science or ML engineering, but let's be honest, it's usually the last thing we think about. We're talking about software licensing and how to make sure the amazing work you're doing isn't just locked away in a legal black box. Okay, let's just jump right in with a situation I bet almost all of you have been in. Picture this. You've been grinding away on a project, you finally got it working, you're proud of it, and you push it to a public repo on GitHub. You just made it open source, right? You've given back to the community.
Well, here's the twist, and it's a big one. The reality is, you've done the exact opposite. If you don't add a license file, by default, your code is under exclusive copyright. That means, legally speaking, nobody else can use it, copy it, modify it, or build on it. You've accidentally put up a giant do not touch sign.
So in this explainer, we're gonna fix that. We'll start by digging into how you become this accidental gatekeeper. Then we'll get into the rules of sharing, how to pick the right license for you, the special headaches that come with AI projects, and finally, how to manage all the licenses and the tools you rely on.
Okay, first things first. Let's really get to the bottom of this problem. What is actually going on when you put code out there with no license?
So what's the real-world damage here? Well, by default, you and only you hold the copyright. That means you haven't given anyone permission to do anything with it. Now, if someone wants to contribute or a company wants to use your code, that legal uncertainty is a massive red flag. They're just going to walk away. And so your awesome work, the stuff you wanted to share, is effectively useless to the community.
So how do we get out of this mess? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple. It's a software license. This is what provides the clear, official rules for sharing your work. I want you to think of a software license as the official rulebook for your project. It's literally just a simple text file, but that little file is a game changer. It gets rid of all the guesswork and clearly spells out what people are allowed to do. It protects you as the creator, and it protects everyone who wants to use your code. It turns fear into freedom. Now, not all open source licenses are created equal. They basically fall into two different philosophical camps. On one side, you've got permissive licenses, like MIT. These are super chill. They basically say anyone can use your code for anything, even in their closed-source for-profit products. On the other side, you have copyleft licenses, like the GPL. These are all about paying it forward. They have a share-alike rule. If you use my code, your project has to be open too.
Let's boil that down even more. The MIT license's motto is essentially, hey, do whatever you want with this, I don't care, just keep my name on it somewhere. But the GPL v3 says something very different. If you use my code, your project must also be open source, which forces that spirit of openness to spread.
Now, you might be thinking this is all just boring legal theory. But trust me, these choices have huge, real-world consequences. Let's look at a bit of open-source drama, the story of Elasticsearch and its controversial license change.
So here's the deal. Elasticsearch used to have a permissive license, but the company behind it felt that giant cloud providers, especially AWS, were making tons of money by selling Elasticsearch as a service without really contributing anything back to the project. They felt like they were being taken advantage of. So what happened? It was like a civil war in the open source world. Elasticsearch changed to a restrictive license to force those companies to pay up. In response, AWS basically said, fine, we'll take the last free version of your code and start our own project. And just like that, OpenSearch was born. It's a huge lesson that your license choice isn't just a detail, it's a strategic decision. Okay, that was a lot of drama. So let's bring this back to you. With all of that in mind, how do you actually choose the right license for your MLOps project?
The most important thing to remember is this. There is no single best license. It's not a one-size-fits-all deal. The right choice depends completely on answering one question. What are your goals? What do you want this project to achieve out in the world?
So here's a quick cheat sheet. If your goal is just pure, simple permission, you want anyone and everyone to use your code for anything, no strings attached, then the MIT license is your best friend. It's the default for a reason. Now, what if you're working on something bigger and you're concerned about patents? That's where the Apache 2.0 license shines, offering explicit protection.
And finally, if you're a true believer in the share and share alike philosophy and you want to ensure your work always stays open, then GPL v3 is your champion. And the best part? Actually doing this is ridiculously easy. Seriously, it's 3 simple steps. First, choose your license. Second, create a file named license, all caps, in the root of your project. Third, copy and paste the full, unmodified license text into that file. And I have to stress that last part. Don't summarize it or change it. The legal power is in the exact wording.
Okay, now for all of us in the MLOps space, things get a little bit more complicated. Because we aren't just shipping code, are we? We're dealing with what I like to call AI's triple threat: code, models, and data.
Every AI project has these 3 distinct pieces, and each needs its own licensing strategy. First, your code. Your Python scripts, your training loops, standard licenses like MIT are perfect for this. Second, the model itself, the actual file with the trained weights. This is different. New licenses like OpenRail are popping up specifically to restrict how a model can be used. And third, and this is a big one, your data. You have to have the rights to use it in the first place, and you should license it clearly, often with something like a Creative Commons license.
All right, last but definitely not least, we have to remember that none of us code in a vacuum. Every single pip install you run means you're building on someone else's work. We are all standing on the shoulders of giants, and we have to respect their rules. So how do you stay out of trouble? It's a simple 3-step process. First, audit. You need to know what you're using. A simple tool like pip licenses can give you a full report. Second, check for compatibility. This is huge. If you use just one library that's GPL, that license can act like a virus and force your entire project to become GPL. And third, automate. Don't do this manually. Integrate license checking tools right into your CI/CD pipeline to catch problems before they blow up.
So here's the bottom line. It's time we stop treating licensing as some boring legal checkbox to tick at the end of a project. It's not. It's a core design decision, just as important as your choice of framework or architecture, because it defines how your work interacts with the rest of the world. So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. Is your project's license as well engineered as its code?